Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. This is Carol Parisi. Our founder, Jack Roser, and myself have Chris Jenner with us. During the break, we were talking about actionable solutions to some of these horrific expenditures, the waste, fraud, and abuse of school boards, the lack of transparency. What is the big solution for that, Chris?
If we've managed to light a fire under anybody in the first few segments, I was going to go a little bit into the mechanics of running for local office. It is really not that hard to get elected. If you're going to have on your website,
championnews.net or forOurChildren'sFuture.com.
You will have a link to the State of Illinois Candidates Guide for 2013. This contains all the information that you need to know. You don't have to read the whole thing. It tells you which offices are available. It tells you, it has all the forms that you would need to fill out. And this
is going to be on championnews.net. And it says everything. This is like the rules of the road book to be a candidate.
Yeah, it tells you the qualifications for office. And the qualifications are relatively light for local office. You have to pass the mirror mist test, which means they hold a mirror in front of your mouth. If there's mist, you pass.
Oh, like the mortgage thing back in 2000.
And in the collar counties, you're also required to have a pulse.
Unlike being a voter in Chicago, you have to be alive.
Right. The collar counties require a pulse. But in general, you have to be 18 years old or more. You have to have been a resident of the district in which you want to serve for a year, and you have to get petitions of registered voters from that district. You have to get 50 signatures, although, as we've discussed, it generally helps to get 2 or 3 times that to be challenge-proof. And it really isn't that hard.
What is a challenge-proof? What does that mean?
Petitions can get challenged. People will challenge and say these are invalid for various reasons. I knew of a lady that was running for school board in Lamont 2 years ago, and she had gotten all her signatures. She had gotten more than the required number. She filled out everything correctly. She paper-clipped her packet together instead of stapling it. She got bounced off the ballot for that.
There's required staples.
But that would be in this candidate's guide. All these rules would tell you exactly how to fasten everything.
Right.
We'll tell you more of the traps like that on our website.
And some of the other things that make it easy to run, these are nonpartisan elections. Ballot access is easy. You don't get into a lot of the divisive issues such as foreign policy, life versus choice. You don't have to talk about Ron Paul at all and get upset about that. If you have a platform of slowing down property tax hikes, it's becoming increasingly popular. People I talk to, if they have a question, what do you want to do on the board? One thing I'll ask them, if you think your property tax bill is high enough or too high, I'm going to be your best friend on this board. And they say, give me the paper, I'll sign. Where do I sign?
What type of requirements? Should someone have an accounting degree or any type of...
Have a passion for, fairness, justice, have a desire to live in a country like the Founding Fathers envisioned. That's really
what education is really about, is not crayons. It's to learn something about what our founders intended to be the system.
Just a few fundamental things about what Thomas Jefferson wrote about education. And if you have a passion for that, that's the reason. I did want to mention some of the dates, though. Time is of the essence at this point. We're currently in the petitioning period. Petitioning actually started in September, and it ends later this month.
It was extended from December 24th
to the 26th. The filing period starts December 17th. A law was passed last week, signed by the governor, extending the filing period to December 26th. So that's you have until then to get your 50 or 100 or 150 signatures.
Do you have to go to Springfield and file?
Not at all. Basically, all you have to do is go to the main office of the governing body. So school district administrative office is where you would file. You do have to file what's called the Statement of Economic Interests. For most conservatives, that would be called the none form, because it asks, do you have a vested interest in this? Do you have a vested interest in that? None, 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 none.
It's not your personal economic, it's not your personal finances.
It basically asks, do you have any kind of a financial relationship with government?
Okay.
And I work in private industry. I don't. I just write none, 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 and that.
I'm a citizen and I pay my taxes.
And get your forms notarized and then turn them in, whenever you'd like during the filing period. It helps to be top on the ballot. That's usually worth a few extra votes. and it's also actually worth a few extra votes to be the very last on the ballot.
And you get that by being the first person in the door or the last person in the door?
Right. So there is some strategy to that. And then, the campaigns, unless it's a very large district or large body, the campaigning is not that intense. It's not that expensive.
Unless you're in a district that's being paid attention to for whatever it is.
If you're in a contentious district, such as District 300, then there might be some campaigning involved.
Oh, yeah.
My first time in District 26, I think I spent a total of $150. I campaigned in a coordinated fashion with a few other gentlemen. We shared yard sign expenses. And because of the lack of interest, you don't spend, months on end campaigning. A week or two before, walk door to door, go to the train station, put out your yard signs. But many people don't know this election is coming, and they don't know that it happened. Because you talked about the voter turnout.
Right. So if you're a taxpayer advocate that believes in lower accountable property taxes, a school board position would be good for you then.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have an organization, it's kind of loosely formed of board members in other districts, basically around Chicago and even some from downstate that are like-minded. And we get together and we talk about what shenanigans our districts are up to so that, everybody can look for this in their district.
Do you guys have a blog about that?
We do not. Unfortunately, we have zero funding, and we all work in private industry. We all have day jobs, and very few of us have, the time that's really needed to put into making this organization work. But we think it's valuable to get together a few times a year and, talk about these things.
What kind of shenanigans go on in the next 20 seconds? What was the most egregious shenanigan play?
I don't know where to start, but we've put in a few policies, one being the non-collusion policy, where when you see 4 bids for a certain service, if you look at the ownership, they might all be, owned by the same person, even though they're different company names. That's one thing we have a policy that try to prevent in District 26.
We will be back after the break. Stay with us.